All right, good people. Welcome to the amazing world of medical careers. And today on this episode, we are going to discuss. Let me show you what I got here. Can you see that? Say it with me. Neuropathologists. Neuropathologist. That's what we're discussing today, folks. And neuropathologists obviously deal with something to do with the brain. Don't make fun of that, but that's what that is, right? And so I am your person for today, Miss McClinton, and we're going to talk about neuropathologists. So, a neuropathologist studies the diseases that impact the central and peripheral nervous system. Now, don't ask me what that is, but it has something to do with your nervous systems. We know that the body, I think, has 7 systems. And it also deals with the skeletal muscle. Much of their time is spent diagnosing tumors and inflammatory disorders and infections. All right. Some of these conditions include acute optic neuritis, that is known as AON. So it affects your eyes. Anything that says optical, those are your eyes. They also deal with chronic traumatic encephalopathy. Say it with me. Encephalopathy. That is known as CTE. And we hear about CTE a lot when it comes to what? Football. Okay. So CTE can affect your behavior, your thinking, and your mood. And then they also look at pituitary edema. And that's just tumors in the brain, like where your pituitary gland is. Okay. Neuropathologists work with the brains of those who have already died. So it's kind of hard to really dig into somebody's brain and study it while they're alive. So they get the bodies, people who donate their bodies to science after they die. They take those brains and they dissect them. All right. And so they do that to gain more knowledge regarding diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease. So you'll notice if you hear people say they got the forgets or they got the dementia, that type of stuff, the forgets ain't nothing but Alzheimer's, okay? And that's when you see people who have lost their memory. That's Alzheimer's. And Parkinson's, I think that's where you get the shakes, I think. And then there are under 1,000 neuropathologists in the United States. So that lets you know we need more, right? Now, in order to become a neuropathologist, you have to obviously go to college. Like, there's no getting around that. Go to college. You're going to got to do your undergrad. Remember, there's 4 years, and then you're going to go on to medical school. And that's where you get your DO or an MD. A DO is a doctor of osteopathic medicine, or you can just get your medical license, right? Then you're going to get some training in pathology, so you have to do a residency. Most doctors do a residency, and this one you'll do it in pathology, not neuropathology, but just regular pathology, and then you'll specialize in neuropathology. Now, these people are making bank, all right? In the United States, a neuropathologist makes anywhere from $360K to $400K. That's a lot of K's, all right? In Texas, though, it's a little less, but hey, I'll take it. 210K to 370K, all right? Now, there are several schools you can go to, but we want to go to the top. One of the top not hospitals, but there is a Johns Hopkins hospital. But school is Johns Hopkins University. That's in Maryland. All right. To get in there, you have to complete an application. You have to write an essay. You got to present your test scores. You have to get a school report and 2 teacher evaluations. So your teacher's got to recommend you. And then it's hard to get in that bad boy, though. The acceptance rate is only 8%. Only 8%. However, they're graduating a lot of people because 93% of their kids graduate. So that lets you know 9 times out of 10, if you get accepted, you're going to graduate. All right? And then you can also go to the University of California at San Francisco. And this is the medical school. Like, it is medical school. There's no undergrad, no none of that. All right? So you have to complete your undergrad, then take your MCAT. You'll hear doctors talk about MCATs. That's your medical college admissions test, MCAT, MCAT. Then you have to commit to these things, and we struggle with that, but you have to commit to diversity, equity, belonging, and anti-oppression. Look it up if you don't know what it means. You have to get your immunizations, because you can't be hanging around folks and you're not immunized. Immunized. You don't have your shots. All right. And then your acceptance rate for there is less. It's 3%. So you got to be on your A game to get in this school. All right. And the graduation rate is 76%. So they still graduating. It's more than, it's over half. Well over half. Okay. So to be that, though, it's not too bad. It's really not too bad. Nephrologists generally work only 40 hours a week. Most adults do that, okay? They spend a lot of their time in labs and, looking at the little slides. So, how in science you put the stuff on the slide and you put it under the microscope. They spend a lot of time doing that. And so the only thing is, there goes the bell. Sorry about that. The only thing with that is if they're working on a case, they may work overtime or a doctor may call them in, but that's not every day. So as far as balancing their work life and things like that, it can be done because generally they're only working 40 hours a week, and most adults do that, right? Now, all that being said, I chose this career, one, because I'm interested in seeing how they find whatever cure or whatever they can do when it comes to CTE. The brain is a powerful organ, and people are constantly trying to understand it, but it's the control center for us. If your brain shuts down, everything shuts down, right? And so I chose to research neuropathologists because they are frantically trying to work to understand CTE. CTE is a disease that is plaguing a lot of athletes, but mainly our football players. And I like football. I really do. But those hits to the head, they're constantly getting that. And the longer you play, the longer your chances go up for CTE. Because if you play football, depending on the position that you're playing, it's just bound to happen. And so too many hits, with the head, CTE can cause depression or aggression or both. It can cause you to have suicidal thoughts and eventually even commit suicide, memory loss, confusion, dementia. And obviously, if you commit suicide due to having CTE, then technically your CTE caused your death. See what I'm saying? And so I love watching it, but it is just so hard to watch the game of football and not feel a sense of guilt, enjoying it, knowing that they're damaging their bodies every time they play. All right? Our bodies weren't made for that. And so we definitely need neuropathologists, not just for CTE, but I was just unaware that they were the ones who were working behind the scenes to give the doctors, like, hey, this is what's going on with this person. Because your regular doctor, they don't know everything. You have to go to a specialist, and the neuropathologist is a specialist, okay? And so if you go to them and they're sending your stuff out to a neuropathologist, they're the ones that's going to, because they also do other things as well, but they are really big on the brain, and we need them. We need somebody who's going to dig in there, because they're digging in there and finding out how we can cure some of the things that we see plaguing our people every day. So that is my research report on neuropathologists. The end, folks.